Hello, AfterBuzzers. You are watching the Jane the Virgin After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we'll be discussing Chapter 55 with special guest Mike Kalinowski. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, we needed some more sad music.
I can't believe it.
Yes. This is to Michael. You haven't been forgotten. Michael could never forget.
I was crying like every 5 seconds this episode.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the Jane the Virgin After Show. I am your host, Stephanie Giorgi. You can follow me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi. And then I have my lovely hosts with me today. Go ahead, ladies.
I don't know if I can get through this.
I think you have to.
Hey, everyone. I'm Nataly Tividian, and you can find me everywhere at Nataly Tividian. That's Natalie with a Y. And I'm going to try to keep it together.
I know, you have to make up for every cry you missed with us last week.
Yeah.
And if it makes you happy, she cried today, everyone, and we needed her to cry. Go ahead.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Francesca at XOXOCESCA. Yes.
What's up? What's up? I'm Franceli, and you can catch me on all things at Selly Hangout.
Hey. And then today we are very lucky because we have a very special guest on the couch with us, Mike Kalinowski.
There's a man in the house.
Yes,
There's a man in the house.
Hey,
Yay, Mike!
So Mike is Trip on the show, whom is one of Rogelio's producers on the Factor de la Vega.
Yes.
Vega Factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Oh my
We're
gosh.
so happy.
It's a
Vega
pleasure to be
Factor.
here.
Yes. So I'm really excited because he's not only on Jane the Virgin, but he's also an AfterBuzz TV host, which is what we're really all proud of.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's part of the family.
I am.
He does the DC movie news for Popcorn Talk, which is a sister network to AfterBuzz TV, and then he is an AfterBuzz TV host for MacGyver, as well as Taken, which will be coming out soon.
27th, 2 weeks from tonight.
Oh,
Yeah. Very excited based on the Liam
Whoa.
Neeson movie series. It's kind of a prequel to that. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm excited for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to join in on the gossip and how
I'd love whatever we talk about. I'd love to share.
you gotta witness all of our reactions and how dramatic we are when
Did
we
you
watch
love
the
how
show.
vested we are in this show?
You know, it's not really. It wasn't a show that I followed the show when it first came out because I wanted to get a feel for the show. But again, it's not something that in my daily that I follow that much. But to see the fan base for the show, it's huge. So once I finally got into the show and started auditioning for it and talking to people, I was like, it's huge, this show. And people were trying to get the gossip out of me because I had booked this. It was the last week before the holidays started in Los Angeles, and I was not allowed to say anything.
Yeah.
They said, we couldn't talk because it was the big thing with Michael and everything. And that was all before, so it was a big,
You had
with
to
a
keep that
3-year time
secret.
jump and everything.
Right.
Yeah. It was not,
So
I
you
could- I-
knew.
I
I
was
could
just gonna
talk.
say, because we knew he was gonna come on the show, but
Yeah, I could not say anything.
Oh my gosh.
But you knew Michael was already gone.
With my script, it did not say that. We just got the 3-year time jump. And
Okay.
at the table read, when we sat down, Gina had talked to everyone. She's like, okay, guys, please don't say anything to anyone. She was just kind of addressing everyone there.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, something big is happening here. But I found out how everyone else found out through the next, an hour after the episode aired.
Yeah.
The internet blew up about everything. I was like, oh, that was the big
was so
secret.
good.
And then the whole 3-month jump, because Mateo, when he was introduced at our table read, that was a big kind of thing with the little guy coming onto the show.
right, because
Right.
he's
Older
older.
Mateo.
Yeah,
He
he's
has
older now,
lines.
so it was this huge thing, and I was just like, oh, now and it was like putting pieces of the puzzle together. It's like, oh, now it all makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go into depth with Mike's experience with the cast, with filming and everything else as soon as we get through the episode today.
Let's do it.
All right, so we start with a flashback, and the flashback is just, as always, going over everything that's happened, and then a little bit of us having to say goodbye to Michael last week, which is incredibly sad. And then we also have just a 2-week fast forward. What happened? I know, sweet girl. It's all right. It's okay.
I can't believe he's
On
gone.
my hand right now. Okay, so we go fast forward 2 weeks, and we have a very beautiful, very sad scene, which I think we needed. We needed to see Jane Moore a little bit more.
Right.
And she is talking to
It was
Abuela.
just so dark. Like,
So
opens up
Literally,
so dark. Yeah.
they had to open the curtain.
But that's why it let the light in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Very
What did you say
slowly.
last week, Franceli, about Alba being...
The Alba was gonna be the light. That she
Yeah.
was gonna be that takes her out of the darkness, you know, and that because she is Like, she's everything. But what I really loved and noticed was that Jane responded in Spanish.
I noticed that too.
And she normally.
Oh my God, Siri girl, you be up in everything. I don't like her.
She wants to join the. But I because usually, Alba is always the Spanish representation.
Wait, time out real quick. Tell me why Siri's trying to talk about Jane the Virgin too. What did she say? She's like, I don't know how would I answer about that, but she's like, I have her call me, and I was like, no one's asking you, girl. Relax. Go ahead.
No, but I was saying that Alba's the Spanish representation, but Jane and Zoe always respond in English.
Yeah.
And in that moment that they had together, Jane responded in Spanish, which I really, really
I didn't even
adored.
catch that.
I did, but I thought it was
Noticed
Alba saying it because she said solo un poquito.
No, it was Jane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but that's what she said. Solo un poquito,
solo un
right?
poquito. Just a little bit.
That was really nice
bit.
because it always surprises me that she doesn't say even a little bit in Spanish. However, I have to say though, growing up, my from until I was like 15, my mother always spoke to me in Spanish and I always responded in English. So I kind of understand that, but then it was one of those things where you transition into accepting who you are and like being proud of your culture, and then I was like, I need to learn Spanish. You know? So that's crazy. But I also really love that, and I'm happy that Alba opened the curtains and that we had her, because there's something about Abuela when she talks that just comforts us,
Yeah. Beautiful.
She's all knowing. Can we get the chat up too?
Yeah,
that way you guys
we want to
can
see
let us
the
know.
people who's here.
Absolutely.
And if you have any questions for Mike too, for Lida.
Yes, right now, please tweet at Cheska XOXO.
XOXO Cheska.
Oh,
XOXO.
XOXO Cheska.
Or ask in the live chat.
I love the fact that Francesca and Franceli
I
are
know.
next to each other this week.
I love it too.
I just want to say that.
So then we have that 2-week period of mourning, and that
it's
was
like
really
so
good.
much pain, and she's trying to understand from her grandma how she went through it, because it's like history repeating itself, right?
It is, absolutely. And I like that, Abuela says it's never going to be the same, which is good. I feel like when people are grieving, no one ever...
It's gonna be okay. You can't give
and people
them
love
that.
to say it's okay, just give it time. I wish more would just say it's going to be hard, but you're going to have to get through it.
Right.
Oh, have you guys been through a loss before? Oh, yeah. Not always,
Yeah.
Mike.
Not to that extent. Not
Right,
like
not
that.
so
No,
close to
no,
you,
no.
right?
Yeah.
My dad.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
yeah,
go.
there you go. I'm
That's
so sorry.
Yeah. That's why, like, last week, that collapse was so real.
Yeah.
So real. I was on the radio when I found out about my dad, and I collapsed. So that's why I was saying that Jane needs another Golden Globe, because the for real, like the realism of, as an actor, to be able to go there and portray that so authentically, someone that has lost something as great as a parent and a husband. I can only imagine. I'm not married, but the oneness that comes with, and the devastation that comes with, she did that so authentically, because that's what it is. You literally feel like you've lost a part of yourself.
Right. So then, I think it's important that I like that they did the 3 years jump, because there's obviously a lot of grieving, but we need to see the side of her that's doing okay, so it was just so necessary. Yeah. So we jump forward 3 years and we find out who's getting married. And it's Rogelio and Darcy.
Or so we thought.
We were all scared for just a second, and then we found out that it was part of the De La Vega factor.
Vega.
It was so cool watching your guys'
Factor,
reactions, because I knew it was a joke. Like, I
Right.
knew what it was, but you guys didn't. So
It's
it was
mad,
great.
huh?
It was awesome to see that. Yeah, and to see from
I was so
my side of-
relieved.
I know you guys. It was so cool to watch you girls watch the show when I knew what was going to happen.
I bet.
We're like,
yeah.
it's just for TV. It's just for
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really cool.
And then that's when we see our very own Mr. Sweetface.
Hiding in the bushes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Sweetface. Yeah, our very own. And I love your character already just because of the calmness. Like, I can tell that Rogelio's gonna be very fond to you because you know how to speak to him already.
It was interesting because in the script, I think it said the exact words were a douchey producer.
Right.
That was where it was, but I think just kind of with the director and I and what had happened, and just on the set there, it didn't come off as douchey as maybe originally was supposed to be, but because I was kind of working with Rogelio a lot and kind of being in his corner.
Right.
So
I think like what you said, it came off as like I know how to speak with Rogelio.
Yeah, and that's-
Like, he's
Right.
a difficult person
Because
to
you
speak
handled
with
it
as
so
an
well.
actor.
I mean, who
And
knows?
those-
You could probably still be the douche that's going to
Right.
be manipulating.
I don't want to give anything away and stuff,
You
but
tell us right now. I'm just kidding.
yeah, it's
But reality producers are known to create the drama.
Yeah.
that's the thing. Talking with the director, there was some people that they had in mind for my character, what they were kind of shoehorning it to be like. So
Okay.
obviously people they've worked with before, which
Right.
is really kind of cool.
I thought it was great. It was super funny, super cute. And remember, I asked him during the show, I was like, hey, what are you mixed with? Like Polish and what? And you're
Italian.
Yeah. For some reason, during the second part, when you're talking to both Rogelio and Darcy, I thought I heard an accent when you're talking to him. And it was so funny. I was like, maybe he's just really tuning into the Miami thing, because that was great.
Those two, that scene was, Jaime is so funny.
Yeah.
Just backstage, on stage, his character, who he is, it's just, he's such a good guy, and he made me laugh so much during that scene. And they just kept building it. They had to bring me down a lot because I was getting wrapped up going it with them.
Yeah.
Because he has so much energy.
Oh, he's
so
constantly,
much energy.
constantly. And all my scenes so far have been with him.
Yeah.
But
Which is amazing.
He's great.
Who
He's
doesn't
great.
want to have scenes with Jaime?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
How similar is he to his
Almost,
character?
I would say identical.
Really?
And I don't know because of just the limited time with him,
Right.
but he's just, everyone loved him on set. He was friendly with everyone. It's almost a larger than life personality, but not fake. He didn't
Right.
feel put on, like, oh, he's acting like this. He just seemed genuine, and that's who he was.
I could imagine, because I know his accent's authentic, no?
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just
I didn't.
real.
If it's not, I didn't hear it
Right.
drop.
I know.
Yeah.
He was a real method actor.
Do you guys follow him on Instagram? Because
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
I
he's, and even I think Rogelio has a Twitter account that's not Jaime, the actor, but it's a
Oh,
Rogelio
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if he does it, but it's
it
pretty
sounds like-
hysterical. It's pretty awesome.
I was on a plane right before this, and the very last page of
Literally
the,
right before this.
Literally, really last page of the Southwest magazine was a little blurb about Jaime.
Oh,
I meant to take a
Awesome.
picture and like text you guys, but I forgot. But that was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Little news and gossip
Yeah,
over
right.
there.
Southwest
real quick, I tried pulling up the live chat roll on my phone, but I can't. If we can get it on the screen, hopefully, that'd be
Yeah.
fantastic, so we can interact with some of our viewers. Stand by, heard. Okay. All right. So we watched them getting married, and we find out that it's not real, and we also find out that it did not work out.
Yes.
We find out that it doesn't work. They have these issues, but now they want to prolong this reality series, even though it made Xiomara awful.
So
How funny was that?
Poor
She's a
Zoe.
reality
I
villain.
love Zoe. Zoe's
So
the
do I.
best.
I can't. And we saw that Bruce and Zoe are living together.
Yeah, and they were talking about that 3 years
Yes,
ago.
she said that they'll be moving in soon.
Yeah.
So,
So that happened.
That's all happening, and then Tripp comes in and tells Rogelio that if we do one more season of the De La Vega Factor, that he can have his Passions of Steve. How wonderful is that? I love that.
Why
they chose
is his
that
name Steve though? I don't know how I feel about
Because-
Steve.
I think because to make it American. You know, I was
Billie
just talking
Jean will
about
get
this.
there.
But there's so many American names.
And then I was just talking with one of my coworkers about the other day that why does there have to be like an English translation name for a Spanish name? Why can't it just be the Spanish name?
Right, I
Do you
agree.
mean like
in Spanish
hi,
class,
I'm
Pedro's
Juan.
Pete?
Yeah, but you can call me John.
But
no,
then
your name's
imagine.
Juan.
Well, I
Yeah.
actually said I wanted to use the actual Armenian accent to my name when I worked in television news.
Oh, say
and
it,
I
say
had
it.
some Nataly Tividian.
Oh my God! Yes.
Why don't you wait.
Nataly Tividian.
Why you don't
Yes,
introduce yourself like that all the time?
Nataly
we're making
Tividian.
For this show,
It's
from
not-
now on?
It's not Tividian, it's Tividian.
Tividian.
Hello.
Yeah.
We'll
girl.
take it.
Yeah, but
Let's
I
do
was
that.
told they would never toss to you like that when you're out on the field. Nobody would ever pronounce it that way. So
And that's understandable, but fortunately, this is Jane the Virgin. And we get to the after show. We got Nataly Tividian.
just call me Nataly.
Santos.
Passions of Steve. Still can't
Steve.
believe that. Oh my God. It's
So
like Passions
I
of
know,
Todd.
it's just easier.
So that's gonna happen. I'm excited for it, and then we're really happy because I guess Xiomara and Rogelio hadn't been talking for a little bit, and Abuela and Jane made them meet at a dinner, and they had to reconcile.
Right.
And then what really got to Xiomara was after hearing Jane's reading that she's like, family is family. We're always going to be family. We're always going to be in each other's life. Let's make this happen.
I didn't sense that Zoe was as angry as she wanted to be about the reality show. I didn't sense that much anger from her.
I feel like she was angry, but I think she just realized
like,
what
oh,
it was. Did you all peep out when Relio said that I couldn't be with Darcy permanently?
Yes.
Right.
And Xiomara's face? And then she got scared when Bruce came around?
There was a moment. There was a moment there.
There was lots of moments
There was a lot of
in
moments.
this show.
Lots of moments.
There was but I do, because there's the scene where he's sitting outside when they're trying to reconcile again. They're on a bench outside of a studio when him and Zoe are talking last season, where he makes it clear like that I want to have a child with you and I could be with you permanently. And so I think it was really nice to hear Xiomara hear that, but at the same time,
she's now a
she almost, I feel like she questioned she must have felt something real quick.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's the storyline right now between that trio. And then we see the new Mateo.
Oh, he's so cute. He's
Actually,
just as
question
cute
about
as the
Mateo.
old
Yes.
Mateo.
How was he just talking to everyone? Was he talkative and everything?
They brought him into the room in the table read, and in the table read, it's the whole cast, and they put us at this giant long table, and then the director there, but then surrounding is like the writers and I guess the editors, producers, costuming was in. There was a ton of people. The cool thing was they had the narrator. Like, he was on a giant screen.
Shout out.
He was on a screen
yeah,
at the
he's in
point.
New York,
Yeah, he was
yeah.
on the screen narrating as we're doing it. So it was the coolest thing I've been a part of. But they bring in Mateo, and I was trying to, I think they were saying that, like, when he came into the audition, he just nailed it.
Yeah.
And they were bonding in the table read together. She's on his lap, sitting there.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, you could tell that they had something there that the casting was like, oh, that's him.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he was
Mommy, Daddy, every time.
I'm
cute.
so amazed at kid actors like that they're just
they can-
in the
Yes,
read-through.
right?
He's sitting there by himself flipping his script pages, and I'm just like, I'm like, I've got 2 lines that's coming up. I was like, am I gonna say them right? And this kid's like, reading them off, drinking his water.
Oh
And I
no.
think
Just a natural.
No, I don't remember. There was a little girl was sitting next to me. I don't know if she was the blonde, but I don't remember having the 2 of them there, twins. There was another little blonde, so I think maybe her scene might have got cut.
Well, there's the twins, Ellie and Anna.
But this was a little blonde girl, but she didn't have a twin with her, so she was another in the birthday party scene. She had a line.
Oh yeah, or she could have been she's probably the little blonde that found
Yes,
the body.
that was it. That's who
the
she
body.
was, and even her. She knew she's like flipping through her script. She has it
Amazing.
highlighted. She knew when she was gonna get there. It's like
You
they're
see?
so professional. These
I'm
kids.
so
amazing.
horrible because I would be so jealous, and I was like, why wasn't I like that when I was a kid?
Right?
That's fascinating. Can we talk about Ellie and Anna?
Yes, I
Real
love
quick.
that they switched up the name because they got tired of the Frozen reference, Elsa and Anna, so we didn't have Ellie and Anna. But yeah, we also see the girls, and the girls called Jane Auntie Jane.
That's adorable.
Amazing,
Cute.
and
That
they
is
love their
adorable.
big
Yes.
brother. That's my favorite
And
part.
they
Just
could
let
do
it
no
go.
wrong. Yeah.
He could do nothing wrong.
Yeah, it's okay. He just hit us through carrots in our
Yeah,
face.
it's
It's okay.
Right.
It's
And
okay,
isn't
we're
it-
just sharing.
But I think it's so ironic that Petra, who was the mom that was like struggling with
Yes.
motherhood, and I don't want these kids. Her kids are the well-behaved. She's the head bit in charge.
Yes.
When it comes to the PTA meeting, like there's just all this other stuff happening, which you would have envisioned Jane being that person.
Exactly.
And Jane's the one with the troubled child. Like it's just so funny to see how
But he knows he's trouble.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's so cute. He's like,
Especially when he talks to
bad
him. I'm
boy.
sorry, I'm a bad boy, Mom.
That was just too cute. I was gonna ask you all what you thought about how Jane's kid turned out to be what you thought Petra's kids would be
Right.
like.
I'm almost not surprised because I think that's what's good about Petra being so strict. I mean, she's a child of Magda, like, oh my
Right.
gosh. And I would Jane, I don't know, not that I don't have children, so I can't tell you how to raise your kids, but I just feel like Jane is very soft.
Yeah.
She's Zen Jane when it comes to Mateo, and
she lost her husband.
she lost her husband, so I think that has a lot to do with everything, and I'm sure what it is for Mateo when you're younger, you see all these issues happening, and that's why Jane was like, don't yell so much and everything. I don't know how child development works, but I don't know. It's just funny, and I don't know if it's like a cultural thing either. I don't think it is, because Franceli and I were saying how we would have given him like a spanking.
cocotazo. Listen. That couldn't have been my child. Like, again, I can't tell y'all how to raise y'all kids, but
Yeah.
my dad didn't play no games. Like, he just had to look at me, and I was straightened up. And Listen, I don't have children yet, but I have 7 nieces and nephews.
Yikes.
Y yo le doy pow pow. I don't play that. Like, no, that timeout stuff don't work in our culture. I feel
Thunder.
like what? Come on.
I think I would be just like Jane when I become a mom.
I think you would too.
I'm not surprised.
I would literally take off my
no, sweetie.
chancleta and be like, you see this
Belt?
chancleta?
Yeah.
I'm like 1.
Yeah.
Don't let me get to 3.
3. Okay, I'm gonna start over.
Right? I hear that stuff like in the supermarket, the kids going crazy, and the mom like gives them a second chance, and I'm just like,
You see, my dad used to count, and he'd get to 2, and I'd be like, oh, and then run over, and I tried to hold for 3, but I couldn't. Yeah, but the whole thing is that, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who are like, that's abuse, and it's just, the times are very different, and sometimes spanking and hitting does affect certain children, but I think that falls under building character in your child, and knowing that,
I think the
discipline
martial
and
arts is going to work for
I think it was
Mateo.
brilliant. I love that.
It was a great idea.
A great idea of who? Mr. Zen Raph. Yes. So our beautiful man is back. Papi chulo.
How do we feel about the
El amor
beard?
de mi vida.
How do we feel
I
about the beard?
love the beard.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I have a weakness for men in beards. Do you? God, thank you, God.
For men in beards who can pull it off.
Right. Because beards are kind of like what they say girls are with like makeup and extensions, right? Like I feel like guys with beards or a hat can look fine, and then
Right.
he takes that hat off or that beard off, and
how you feeling over there, Mike?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm getting a whole new insight into women here. This is fantastic. Keep going, ladies.
You know, I'm not a huge fan of the beard.
what?
But because I don't really like beards, I feel like sometimes
okay.
they're like, ooh, sucio, like just yuck.
They got like the cream cheese still
Like,
left over from their
I've
tacos.
never been involved with someone like that, but I always get afraid. Like, what is there gonna be like some leftover
Oh,
scents from
girl.
something? Like, do you wash it? Do you shampoo it? Do you
Girl,
condition it? How does that work? What is the? What is?
It works.
I don't know how it works for Ralph is pulling it off.
Great.
I actually don't think he looks good with the beard.
I like it.
It's a little too it's a little
Maybe
too
if he's
overgrown.
trimmed, yeah.
I think he would look nice with facial hair, but I think it's a little. He looks like he's been on an island,
Yes.
a prison on the island for like 3 years instead of.
Especially with those linen pants, which I love. He said, "I bought one
Linen
pair of
Like he's
pants."
on his way to become Jesus.
How do you get out of jail so zen though?
Yeah,
What,
I mean,
what
you know
happened
what?
in
The
there?
same way. Well, I guess I can't say that about. Oh my God, Malcolm X. Oh, I couldn't remember that.
Wait, what?
I was gonna say, you know, the same way Malcolm X had like his whole transformation. However, but he was more of the violent one, whereas Martin Luther King was like the peaceful one. But I think that when people are, you know, when you have time to yourself, you have to reflect and just
And he used it to become zen.
yeah. And besides, he went into jail wanting that clean slate.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah. But so we see this whole new dynamic, which I think was wonderful. I love that, and we find out that Petra and Jane saw each other once a week
Yeah, that was
on
awesome.
brunch, you know, to be there for each other when Raph had left. So that was also great. And we see that last little brunch scene with Raph and putting his napkin, and that just goes to show you the way that we love to look up at our dads or at our parents just to copy them.
Right.
And I'm happy that Raph is that for his children.
Yeah.
That's incredible. In addition to that, there's one more person in the dynamic. I don't
Do
know
we
who
have
she
to
is.
talk about her?
Who
I
are
don't think we
you?
need
Why
to.
does she
Who
exist?
invited you?
Her name is Allie. I mean, what?
Abby?
When I see her, all I think is Friday Night Lights. I can't.
Is that the girl from
Yeah,
it?
she was in Friday
she was on
Night
the show.
Lights.
I just think you're pretty, but I don't care.
But they've never
Bye.
fought. Like that's
What'd you say?
They've never had an argument.
Oh yeah, which is why I don't
in
trust
a
her.
year, in an entire year.
I feel like, and you don't have to have an argument, but I do feel like having at least a heated discussion is a means
Yes.
of getting to know each
Yes,
other.
I was gonna say
no
that
two
too
people
because
agree on anything. We
Yeah,
don't agree on
exactly.
anything here.
because define fight, right? Because it's like I can have a fight with you or be upset with you and just never yell or call you out your name. Like
Right.
I can have a mature adult
Right.
Yeah.
argument.
Right.
But I just feel and I think it's so funny because Stephanie was like feeling some kind of way like Raph and Jane are supposed to be together. But remember last week, Stephanie wanted to say that she hopes Raph and Jane don't get together.
But that's just because I was still hurting
You were
about
mourning.
Michael.
She was in shock about Michael.
I'm still in shock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in shock
Yeah.
for a very long time. I'm
I
very
I
upset
keep
right
telling
now.
people, I'm like, you don't watch the show, do you? Can I talk to you about it?
about
I'm like, because Michael dies.
I've been doing that too.
Yeah, and I'm like, and this is a character that just wasn't supposed to die.
My poor brother wanted to get lunch with me. I'm like, get this.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know who you're talking about.
He's like,
That was
help,
crazy.
check please. I think that, I don't know, right now I don't get a bad vibe or weird vibe from Abby. I think she was just brought in to show how zen, like, Raph is.
They've been here
and
for
to
over a
get-
year.
And to make you, because I think a lot of people thought in 3 years maybe Jane and Raph could get together.
Right.
But there has to be some sort of, dynamic in there. They can't just get together so easily. It can't just be...
This is gonna be like all the
Butterflies
great
and
shows.
uphill battle.
You
It
know,
has to be an
this is
uphill
gonna be
battle.
like Dawson's Creek.
Right.
You know, Pacey and Joey get together at the end, and they were always best friends. Which I love that they say this in this episode. Jason's
I
like, you
love
know you're my
that
best
too.
friend. He's like, yeah, I know.
love
I
that.
know too. I also
Okay.
know
For
that.
a split second, I was like,
No. You know what?
No,
Good.
not yet.
I don't want to see it
No.
because the one thing that Jane and Raph do well is build tension and build that moment, and we're gonna have a tree moment again.
Right.
A tree.
A tree moment. But I love the
They
little
will,
fist
they
bump.
will prevail.
I want to ask you, Mike,
Yes.
how was, like you had mentioned when we were watching the show, just you could tell the dynamic of the cast was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, and how was it during the read, like with Raph and Jane,
Jane, yeah.
especially those two.
Gina and Justin.
Yeah, Gina.
It was. I'd been on a few table reads before, and I had no context for them. But seeing this group, and it was our first. We were the first episode back from the holiday break, and everyone was just so nice to each other. The dynamic, you could tell that everyone loved each other there. It was
Yeah.
all like one big family, and I was like, oh, so those other shows that worked on, they didn't like each other very much, but this group did, and. So when you're saying with the two of them, you mean like the the actor and the actress together?
Yeah.
Or
Like how was it at the like?
They were sitting. They sat next to each
Okay.
other, and they just had a chemistry. There was just this familiarity with them. It didn't seem like because I didn't know Michael at the time was not there. I didn't know about that. I wasn't, but there was a bit of an awkwardness when they were talking about that. So now I'm putting it all together now. So
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Yikes! I'm sure they
couldn't
do.
give too much
Their
away.
chemistry is
Right.
like unbelievable, especially during the time because. I mean, Jane was married to Michael, and I still saw the chemistry between her and Raph.
Like,
throughout
how
the
do they
show.
not? This is just in general. I mean, this actually happens in real life, but how does every co-star not end up falling in love with their co-star? You know,
But that's because a lot of co-stars do.
like that's
in-
what I said.
I don't know.
On Gilmore Girls, Alexis Bledel dated all three of them.
Oh dang!
Yeah, lucky her. They are fine as
Yes.
F.
It's called showmance.
I didn't know this.
Show
I didn't know this
me.
tidbit of info.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
It's
If you're-
real,
I
though.
can't
Yeah.
believe,
Corey and Topanga never got married.
right? I can't believe Meredith Grey and Patrick Dempsey, or excuse me, Ellen Pompeo and Patrick Dempsey weren't together.
Well,
That
she
blows
was
my mind.
already married.
I know, so was he, but whatever.
Well, we saw what happened with the.
Oh yeah.
We're not going there.
Because there was drama in the
Yeah.
showbiz, yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, So yes, we see this beautiful dynamic. I love this new crowd. We're gonna see who Abby is and if she sticks around. Hopefully she doesn't. If she does, fine, whatever, we'll deal with it. But then we have some good times with Jane and her novel and her writing, her art, and she is still working with Chloe. And that's cool. And Chloe is like trusting her and definitely gives her all these manuscripts. She really does believe in Jane's vision. And then there's an opening that is called, did anyone write it down? One Time Miami Read.
Yeah.
One Time Miami Read, I believe.
One night, Miami night read, something like that.
Yeah.
Miami's must reads.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that. Sorry, y'all.
Someone tell us in the comments.
And so then she turns in hers. What do they say?
That's a Billie Jean. I love Billie Jean.
Every time they showed Michael's picture, the
Titanic
Titanic song played in my head.
Don't say that. Don't say that. It's gonna make me cry.
And for those of you who didn't watch last week, that was the song we opened with,
Yeah.
and it was stuck in my head today too.
Yeah, it was very
It's
appropriate.
really funny.
So appropriate. I love the fact that
Make me
Jane
cry
has
right now.
the cat Michael
Give
wanted.
Jane a
I
break,
know.
man. Give her a break.
She's strong. That's good. Let her represent us women out there.
She's really strong.
She
When
is.
she was up there reading.
But she has a moment of weakness because then she does win the little spot, the 7th spot to read her novel. And we all thought this was the novel about
her
Abuela
abuela.
and Cecilia and
Yeah.
That was
all of
shocking.
that.
Yeah.
And we find out that Jane wrote an entire new novel about the love story between her and Michael. And it's called Snow Falling, like the very first time that they kissed when there was a hole in the ceiling.
It gives me
and
goosebumps,
snow fell
and I
over
can't
them.
believe that happened.
And then she has a breakdown moment. She thinks she's not gonna do it, and that's when we see our papacito come over. Right? Raph comes. He's like, "No, you're not gonna go on." This is what I've always loved about him. He knows her. He gets to her, and he has this love for her, and it's just there.
And it wasn't like Raph came in and he was like, "Oh no, let me give you a hug."
Right.
He was like, "Get it together,
Wipe the tears,
wipe those tears, do not cry." And he knows how to speak with her.
But it was perfect because the whole episode he had been so zen that then he finally
I want Michael back.
I know.
He finally was strong.
He
was.
was.
I
But
like
Zen
this.
helps you to get there, I think.
Yeah.
I like that Natalie's saying she sees all this because now there's no longer any teams.
Right.
No team Michael, no team Raph. It's just like, let's see where this chemistry.
We're team love.
We're team love, guys.
love.
The world needs a little bit more of it right now, okay?
And then Jane does a very beautiful and successful reading that leads to her being offered to get her book published. Leads to Xiomara forgiving and reconciling with Rogelio, which we'll see some romance probably sparking there as well. And she has this moment and she feels better about, Mateo. Her and Raph are able to discuss that they do need an aid for Mateo because he's been having behavior problems.
I don't think they're that bad.
They're pretty bad.
That bad.
I'd be like, oh my God.
Mateo's so cute, but he would annoy the crap out of me.
Listen,
He would get hit.
that chop to the cake.
Eso no se hace, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see all that, but that's what comes out of it. And then last but not least, the Marbella has been redesigned.
The second happiest place in the world.
Yes, and this is Petra's project. I like the way that she explained it to our gator boot wearing Chuck
The hottie
over
gator.
at the adult hotel next door.
All right.
With his deep ass voice.
Well, you thought he was good looking.
He is good looking. Happy bang anniversary, Chuck and Petra. So yeah, they have a little romance there, but there's an issue. She tries to blame him, and it's not her fault. And then we find, which by the way, the whole pirate idea for the kids—that's brilliant at a hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scavenger hunt.
But the scavenger hunt leads to finding. Can we have a dun dun dun?
Dun dun dun.
Do we have them?
Do we? No. I don't know.
No. Dun dun dun.
I don't think anyone's there today.
It's okay. Scott is found.
Oh.
Is it Scott? But is it Scott?
It might not be
go?
Scott, but still something went
There we go. Right there.
Good one.
There we
good
have
one.
it. There
Hold
we
on,
have
there was
it.
a vest. We saw the vest.
We saw the best, but
best.
it could have been anything. I mean, the last episode, we see that Rose is back with Luisa and they're involved. We also see that Aneska is with Scott and they have the paper. I mean, and then Aneska, they said that they split. Maybe Magda came back out of prison and then brainwashed Aneska, or Aneska thought that Scott, who knows, anything. It could be anything.
Right. There's so much going on.
I was the whole time. I thought that the little pirate and that bird were actually gonna be like Luisa and what's her name, or something like.
Oh, in the costume, I thought it was gonna be
I thought it
Rose
was gonna
too.
be them, and they were like doing that because they were trying to find something and like using the kids as bait. But it ended up being
the
them.
Raph's sister and Petra's sister and like Jane's cousin. Like there's just
Kata
so much.
left. Good.
Yeah,
Bye.
she left. But I mean, there's
Bye.
just so much. I just feel like there's so much change.
There is so much
There
change.
was There's too much in
change.
this episode.
There was too much change. It all happened way too fast, and
We'll find out after this when we talk to Mike about it. Anyways, I'm just no,
he's
but-
gonna give us all the.
So that's essentially what happens this episode. But because I want to get through and talk about you and more of the stuff. So Mike Kalinowski, like I said, is Trip on the show. You have a couple more episodes, correct?
I did film one more. I booked a third, which I'm shooting this week.
Excellent.
I just read the script for it, so I know a lot of what happens. So this was technically, this one the air was 311. It's season 3, episode 11. I was in 312, off 13 and 14. I'm back for 15, and script for 15 leads it into something pretty cool for me. I think.
Ooh.
But it's cool. It's interesting to see because I know a lot that you guys are talking about. Like I know a lot of stuff that has happened. So it's like I can't talk about it. But for me personally, as an actor, it could be something really cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know what? And all of the producers anyone that works with Rogelio, they come back a lot. So I'm
That's
really,
the thing,
I'm
like-
excited about your character because I feel like you have.
See, and
room to
I
blossom.
want to talk more, but I can't because
Beat around
the
the bush?
script I read today,
It would give us a lot.
it gives away a lot.
Okay.
Even
understood.
even what happens next episode.
Yikes.
is
I'm not lying. I'm
interesting.
gonna ask.
So,
We're gonna ask off air.
So, and then just a little fun fact so all of you guys know, Mike has also had scenes in Vampire Diaries, Castle, Revenge, Young and Restless, from soap opera to novela. And then, yes, and then I told you already about his AfterBuzz TV shows.
Yeah.
So that's just to throw that out there. And then what else can you tell us about as far as like the live reading goes, or actually, excuse me, working with Jaime, like, did you guys interact? Did anyone try to give you advice?
I think for these shows, the series regulars, I think they're so used to people
Coming in
like
and
me
out.
coming in every single episode. There's 4 or 5 co-stars probably, like the guy playing this Southern guy. I forgot his name.
Chuck.
He was a guest star, and he's
Right.
probably I've seen the actor on a lot. So for my type of role, I think they're used to the change in and out. But then on the second episode when I came back, he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing again? What's your name?" So it was much more familiarity there. And again, like with this role, it was only supposed to be 1 episode. As a 1 episode co-star,
That's
I
awesome.
go into the table reading. That was it, and then I had a fitting. And I'm getting my costume, and I'm, and there a couple girls in there, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get all the episodes today. We'll worry about that." And I just thought they were talking to the girls. I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "How many costumes do I have for this?" She's like, "Well, you got 2 for this episode. The next episode, a couple. Then after that, you got a bigger role." And I was like, "Am I recurring on the show?"
So
And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, I tried to play it off. I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I knew that." And I get outside and call my manager. I was like, "Am I a recurring character?" She's like, "Oh, we're working out the contract and your episodes right now." But yeah, so
That's awesome. So
and
awesome.
it's weird for me because I've never been in this where if it's been recurring, it's been like 1, 2 episodes maybe.
Right.
But this is like after the second episode, I didn't know the script and where it ends. I was like reading as like, oh, I could see where they would go with my character if he comes back, and I didn't hear anything for a couple weeks, and then I was on vacation and I got the thing from casting saying, "Hey, you're in the outline for the next episode, so we have to pin you." What's called like, don't work during this week. We're probably going to use you, but
Nice.
yeah. So I don't. It's
On that
crazy
note,
for me.
I'm gonna go into predictions because my prediction involves you.
Okay.
Predictions.
For the next episode or
Yeah.
No, so because of that,
Okay.
I assume then Rogelio's series is gonna kind of go big. I think that they're gonna do the Passions of Santos. They're probably gonna have
Passions
you
of Steve.
Oh, excuse me, Passions of Steve. They're probably gonna have you on as the. You're like smiling because you want to know what I'm guessing.
I kind of
He's
well,
sitting there
after-
thinking these girls are so good at
They're
predicting.
so good.
after the second episode, what happened at the end of the script, I was like, oh, they could go this way with it. And then I got my new script. I was like, oh, they did. They're going to go that way with it. So I can't tell you.
Which way? Yeah, which way?
I can't tell you.
I'm just kidding.
I can't tell you.
So you think he's gonna be the producer on
I think
Passions of
because
Steve?
who's the other Latina that does that is his producer that Rogelio used to be involved with sexually? He used
I'm
to sleep
blanking
with
on her.
Right, but you know who I'm talking
name,
about,
right?
right?
Yeah, I know her
La
real
Puertorriqueña,
name.
the
I know her
Puertorrican.
real name.
What is it? That's the actress. That you don't know it.
It just left my brain as soon as you.
I know. I love it.
Cool,
Judy
Johnny.
Ramirez.
Yes.
Judy Ramirez. Okay,
I
so
was like,
Judy
it was-
Ramirez, I'm sure she's recurring because she's one of the main hosts, and then there's the 2 executive producers that come back randomly. So then if he's involved with the La Vega Factor and Passions of Steve, you already know Rogelio's going to be stuck on it. So we're going to see what you do, whether it's manipulation to try to get something more, or if you have an involvement with Darcy. Maybe not.
I enjoyed working with Darcy. She was a blast.
Really?
Yeah, I've more.
Is that who you interacted more with?
The 2 of them together. It was
Okay.
always the 2 of them together. Actually, more Jaime.
Right.
But she was good, and I didn't realize she was from was it One Day at a Time, the new
Yeah,
show on
the new
Netflix.
series.
I was during the episode. I was like, she looks really familiar, and then I was like, oh my, that's her.
Yeah.
And she was really nice too. So.
Do you,
But I
okay,
can't
girls, any predictions?
I actually liked Darcy's character. I don't know what happened.
She's so good. I still liked it, but we just didn't need her to be with Rogelio.
Yeah, I get that.
But
Who do you want Rogelio to be with?
Zoe.
Zoe, of course.
Okay.
Jane's mother.
Okay.
Zoe.
Oh, I can't say.
Oh my
No, I cannot.
Okay,
Oh.
what are your predictions?
No, I'm getting used to all of this. I'm getting used to all of this.
Actually, you know what? Before I go into your predictions,
I'm curious to see what's going to happen, not in the next episode that I'm in, but the 2 between the ones before I come back. Like, because they didn't send the script. I don't get any of that.
Right.
So I'm so curious to see what happens now.
So just being involved with it and then reading the script, do you find yourself like really into the show then, kind of? Like,
Yes.
it's pretty good. It's like
I got
kinda
into the
crazy,
show
but
just
it's-
watching it right now.
Oh, good.
And it's interesting because my first to read the script and see the table read because there's so much the graphics popping up and the narrator and everything. It's so to see it on the screen. It's like it's really well done.
I love it.
And-
Tam B, by the way, also thinks that you're gonna be a shady producer.
Oh, shady.
So forget about the dude. She's just shady.
Shadester.
But yeah, sorry,
Shady
continue.
boots.
That you just coming together. It was
Yeah,
awesome and done
it's,
well.
it's so interesting to see that how it all works like that. Like, and how like the posters talk and the Michael talks to her in that one scene and stuff, and it's really
it's
interesting.
super telenovela, but like
Yeah.
and dramatic in that way. That's why.
But there's nothing like it on network TV.
There isn't.
No.
So I think that's
we
why
said
it does
that-
so well.
Of course, and we said that from the beginning because I promise you, after we used to see the text messages from Jane the Virgin, I saw so many shows doing the same,
Yeah.
which hadn't done that before.
Now, there
But it's because it's part
and
of
I
our
don't-
culture, though.
I don't see it anymore, but Eva Longoria, didn't she have a show on NBC called Telenovela?
Yeah.
It came out over the summer or maybe over the
Yeah.
holidays, and then
They just did one season.
and that was it.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Yeah, you know why though? Because Jane came out, and I'm assuming that if there was any kind of drama, like without being a telenovela, Jane the Virgin was a telenovela, a proper one,
yeah.
and because it's an homage to Juana la Virgen, which was a novela in
Right.
Venezuela. So that's probably why it worked out
And
better.
Jaime, he was huge, right? And,
He
and
is.
That's
He
his thing.
is
He's
huge.
huge.
Oh, yeah, he
That's-
is.
Like his character in life imitates art imitates
Yeah.
life. Like that's really his life. Like he was
Oh,
a
you can
huge
tell it.
telenovela star in Mexico, and I know people that have worked with him, and then he always wanted to cross over. And
Yeah, we were filming on a beach for the next episode, and just the people walking by noticing him. And I don't know if they noticed it from Jane. I think they noticed it from him, just who he was.
right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see the
Oh,
fan
so you
base
guys were
that
on
he
a
has.
beach. Mm-hmm.
I don't think that gives anything away.
The Marbella's right on the beach, so
You was never on the beach though. You right, girl. Got him. Sorry.
Mike's like,
Mike's not getting
never
rid of
mind, no more
here.
questions.
Well, girl, ladies, any predictions? Then?
prediction.
No, well, I'm just wondering, I want to know if that is really Scott, because his name tag was on
Right.
it, doesn't mean it's really him.
Especially
Right.
because the body looked burned.
Right.
Did it?
Yeah, because how do you decay in 3 years? You don't decay like that in 3 years. Is it 3 years? I feel like it takes
Maybe.
longer.
If you're in the sand,
Possibly.
I don't know. And then if it is Scott or whomever it is, who killed them? If it is Scott, is Aneska still alive? Did Aneska do it? Did Megna come and do it?
It's probably Rose.
Did Rose do it? Like,
Ooh.
you know,
I say it
whoever.
was Rose.
Right, Rose for Luisa.
Wow.
Because of the
Because of the
will,
yes.
Well, I mean, Petra had a certain reaction to it when Raph asked about them.
Yeah,
like
well,
whatever
because
happened to
probably
Scott.
because she was confused as to why she never saw them again.
No, because no one knew that Aneska was still here.
Right.
She had said she had left. So if she said the last time I saw them was when they got married, then that would open up a can of worms for everyone else, and I don't think she wanted to jump back.
Well, I do want to say my prediction actually came true, because last week I was talking about how I wonder if the whole Jane and her boss was going to be a Devil Wears Prada, and it has become that. She's clearly a bitch, and my prediction is hopefully Raph will kick into her butt to actually quit this job, because now she's going to be published and to just stand up for herself. I think Jane, she's so loving and so warm that sometimes she forgets to stand up for herself. So hopefully in this new transition of her being without Michael, she's going to get some backbone and people in their place.
Yes, and can I just say, this is the reason why I loved their dynamic in the past, because I felt like Jane was pushed more there.
Right.
Where she had a very similar personality to Michael's.
Michael
where
was safe.
Yeah, he was very safe and compromised, and I think it's important to have that opposite with you to push you respectively.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want things to get better for Jane.
I think things
they're
are
trying
better.
out. They're
Can't
trying out.
handle it. She's got the crappy boss, and she lost her husband, and
But she about to get published.
But she better
she
get published.
is.
That's
and,
really
and I
good.
hope that like turns into a movie and blows up and becomes
And Rogelio
huge.
stars in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Rogelio.
As Michael. He's like, it'd be
That
an
would
honor
be a
to be
hoot.
him.
Oh, their
All right,
bromance.
y'all. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you,
show.
ladies,
Thank
for
you for
having
talking
me.
with us.
I-
We'll probably
it's a
have you back
pleasure.
on if that's all right with you.
Absolutely, I'd love to come
Excellent.
back.
We'll have you on every episode. All right, ladies, where can they find you on social media?
Bueno, señores, I'm Franceli. You can catch me on all things at Selly Hangout. And be sure to come right back on AfterBuzz on Wednesdays on the 6th with me and Dan.
There you go.
Who's Dan?
Dan's my co-host.
Okay, I'm just kidding. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, XOXOCESCA.
And I survived and I didn't cry. You can find me everywhere at Nataly Tividian.
Yeah!
All right. And Mike,
Yes.
where can they find you?
At Mike Kalinowski on Twitter. I'm AfterBuzz shows with MacGyver and Taken, DC Movie News for Popcorn Talk, our sister network here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I hope we had a second exciting conversation. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi, on Instagram at the Stephanie Giorgi, and here next week for the Jane the Virgin After Show. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.